After looking at everything in the situation with Mason Greenwood, I don't think it's right for Manchester United to bring him back and have him in the team next season. But Manchester United have a situation right now where they cannot sell him. And Mason Greenwood is officially a Manchester United player. I'm going to get into details on the 2-week deadline Manchester United have got to try and get Mason Greenwood out of Manchester United. Otherwise, they're going to have to make room for another parking spot at Carrington because Greenwood will be coming back. There are other news in the transfer market for Manchester United this evening. We're going to get into all of that. Zirkzee and Zirkzee. Obviously, where is Jadon Sancho going as well? I am going to touch on a video that I did earlier on today as well about the naming rights to Old Trafford. I did get loads of comments back on that one. Some of them colourful, as I expected. But if you stay to the end of the show, I'll keep you in the loop as to what has been said and what else is happening. And I'll give you my thoughts on everything after looking at everyone's comments as well. Give the video a like. I'm Adam. This is Forever United TV. Please get in the live chat. To do so, you need to subscribe to Forever United TV. So please get onto that. Give the video a like I said, and obviously get commenting away on all topics. Please get commenting on the video if you're catching up later. I know there's a lot of football going on right now, so these slightly different time shows that we're doing at the moment do kind of get in the way or mixed up with the football. But yeah, just make sure you comment later on as well on all topics. I do read through quite a lot. I have done from the video before as well, which is what we're just talking about. But it has come to light that we have known for Mason Greenwood for some time now the news about the three massive Italian clubs in Napoli, Lazio and Juventus all being interested in. We touched on that last weekend. Forward a week and into Thursday, which is tomorrow, and all of a sudden we're looking like them bids weren't good enough. Manchester United can't find a suitor. The hard hand of Ineos and negotiating tactics that they employ compared to what it used to be like at United have left United in a situation where they've said no, and that's fair, but when saying no, obviously, you then have to deal with the consequences of that, which means other clubs just walk away. And what happens to Mason Greenwood? Well, you carry on as normal. And normal for Mason Greenwood right now is getting in his car and driving into Carrington, and in 2 weeks' time, starting proper pre-season training with Erik ten Hag for the first time. Ten Hag's been at the club for 2 years. Ten Hag's just getting a new contract. If he likes what he sees with Mason Greenwood, is he going to actually risk the wrath after all the fans and their opinions about Ten Hag? You know what? I'm just throwing it out there. Is there a chance that Ten Hag could have a say on Mason Greenwood? If he says to Ineos, look, I can save you money. I like Greenwood. I want to keep him in the side. You just don't know on this planet. There is no reason why. Well, there are reasons why in opinions, in fans and everyone else in the world of football. But nothing to stop Mason Greenwood starting for Manchester United this pre-season and going into next season. I personally can't see it. I think the 2-week deadline which is set and what Manchester United need to really get Mason sold in is going to come in, and personally, again, I think July is when everything is going to happen. But guys, I want your comments on Mason Greenwood and the situation right now. I feel like we're in a position where Ineos were confident in dealing with it. They have come up against roadblocks and issues along the way, i.e. prices and their idea and values of Manchester United players. I've got a poll up right now. What's the biggest transfer issue at Manchester United? Getting players in, getting players out. Getting players out is landsliding it with 75% of the vote right now. As you can imagine, we want to make space. We were talking earlier on today about players that are going to get contract renewals. There is a few players that contracts are up and are going to be looked at if they're not sold this summer. There's a list of them. We'll maybe touch on them later as well. But in terms of Mason Greenwood and his contract, obviously we know that the extra year was triggered by Manchester United. So he's got 2 years left. 2 years left. Is there a world where Mason Greenwood comes back to Manchester United? Ten Hag probably won't care. I'm guessing, and I don't know if I'm right on this, but he probably looking at the situation and going, well, there's a good striker. We know he's a quality player. Will he be bothered about the situation? It's crazy to think that Ten Hag hasn't seen Mason Greenwood and he's been at the football club for 2 seasons. It's absolutely mental. But personally, I look at it and I go, how do United deal with it? Does he go back out on loan again? Do we do a cut price deal for one of the Italian clubs? Or do we even buckle to the price that came in from Valencia? Apparently that was 25 million. That's heard as Mason Greenwood's preferred destination, of course. So he's spent a year in Madrid with Getafe. He's now looking at possibly going back there again if he can. And that's from his camp and where he wants and where he stands. So, looking into that situation, I personally still think that Mason Greenwood will be sold, but the clock keeps on ticking. And while Manchester United are struggling, and we can see that in terms of the prices that are being brandished around, whether or not bids are going in that we don't know about, like I said, that then will come to fruition as we enter July next week, then we'll wait and see. And something might happen. You could get to that stage where Manchester United do feel comfortable with a bid for Mason Greenwood, and he is so before pre-season starts again. But how weird is that atmosphere going to be at Carrington if Mason Greenwood rolls back in? Such a strange scenario to think of, but it's there, and it is a distinct possibility that this is going to happen. It's absolutely crazy. I want to get your comments on this straight away and see where you guys are at with it. I can see another loan deal happening, says Welsh Red. Tom Porter says, I've never wanted Mason back. We have enough issues, and the toxic chants amid aimed at him would feed the media. Now, they want Reid just adding to his contract to get 30 million for him. It doesn't work like that out here, I'm afraid. Manchester United's price for Mason Greenwood doesn't fit anyone's budget in Italy, and they're the only ones coming forward at the moment. They're going to have to take a cut price. They won't get 30 million for him as it stands, I don't think. Carsten says some will do a Sancho stay and take the wage until contract's running out, and make a big sign-on fee. Sorry, there's a typo on that one there. Rashford, McTominay, Lindelof, Maguire. CrossFit says all for contract renewal. Contract negotiations. Or is that just your out list? I'm guessing that's the out list. Carnage made to replace Mason would cost us a fortune. Erik ten Hag previously has said he'd be willing to reintegrate Mason into the squad. Yeah, I understand both sides of the opinions here, guys, as well. I can understand people saying not a chance, get him gone, finished, total there. We've talked about it many a times. Well, I want to deal with the situation we're in right now. 2 weeks. Are any of us going to buckle and sell him for a cheaper price? You could be looking at someone just coming in and saying, bang, 20 million, take it or leave it. That's what we got to deal with. That's what Manchester United are going to be up against right now. Teams taking the mick. They know that they don't want Mason Greenwood coming back to Carrington and having to deal with that mess and integration side and what the other players think of it. The fan reaction that is obviously going to come his way as well. So are they going to buckle at the price? I think it's more likely that that will happen. Bringing him back in would be a kick in the teeth for United female employees in particular. It wouldn't be a good look. Unfortunately, they do have a massive opinion on it, but I don't think this decision was made solely around the female staff at Manchester United. I don't think it was. George Wildham, Mason's our best player. If he can handle the abuse, he's going to get them, have him back for sure. It's a complete 50-50 split. Ineos won't buckle, says Louise. Mason was charged with a serious crime, although he was not charged. Yeah, that's the thing. It's how you want to look at it. Are you looking into the first bit or the second bit? That's how it will be judged, I feel. Like, no one will forget, is what we're saying here, pretty much. Please keep giving the video a like, guys. Let's get them likes up where we can. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Do go over and look at the video I did earlier on today after the show's finished as well, guys. Give me your opinion on that. Loads of you have done that already regarding the naming rights to Old Trafford and that situation going on there. And in terms of where this report came from Mason Greenwood, it came from the Mirror, and it just reads, Manchester United are preparing to reintegrate Mason Greenwood back into the squad during pre-season as attempts for a sale continue to be made, says the Daily Mirror. The report says United will allow Greenwood back into the squad if a sale is not made within a fortnight, with no club yet meeting their asking price. United are reportedly looking for offers of around 40 million for the attacker amid interest from clubs in Italy and Germany. Getafe are also hoping to bring him back, and that will be on loan again. It is thought United are after a clean break with just a year left on Mason Greenwood's deal. Juventus and Napoli have shown interest, while reports also suggest Lazio have tabled a £30 million bid for the forward. 30 million. It wasn't 30 million, so I don't know what they're doing with that report there. But that is where we're pretty much at with Mason Greenwood. Keep your comments coming in, guys. Let me know what you think. And obviously we'll get into that as well when we come back to the comment section. I want to move on. We've got plenty to get through tonight, so let's move on quickly with everything else that's going on transfer-wise with Manchester United. Our friend Ben Jacobs has been doing plenty of talking again, but there is a news coming out from Damasio, which does look, you could say it looks more realistic as well because of the links that we've got with this player in Dan Ndoye. Manchester United have inquired about Bologna winger Dan Ndoye, 23. He has previously played for Ineos-owned clubs Lausanne and Nice. So, yeah, that's the situation right now. In bigger picture, Manchester United is actively pursuing two potential signings, Joshua Zirkzee and Dan Ndoye. We know about Zirkzee, didn't know about Ndoye. The club has agreed on personal terms with Zirkzee and is in advanced talks with representatives. Negotiations for Ndoye, a Swiss international and Bologna midfielder, are also underway following his impressive performance against Germany. It won't be just off one performance. There's got to be some other scouting involved in that. Carrying on, it says Manchester United aims to finalise these deals, which could cost around 80 million before pre-season. So United want two signings in before pre-season starts. So this 2-week deadline that we've got isn't just for Mason Greenwood, it's for Manchester United. It seems to actually get deals over the line as well with players they want to bring in. Whether or not Manchester United will go all in on the players that they want to bring in, and then maybe isolate players from training that they don't want under Ten Hag's rule, and try and obviously sell them players later on and recoup what they've spent. I don't know which way they want to do it. Do they want to get players out first to get the money in, or do they want to commit before losing players in the transfer market to get them players through the door? In terms of players in, obviously the positions have been debatable where we need players. Left back has been brought up, and there is another story regarding another young fullback from Bournemouth who we already know about, who goes by the name of Zirkzee. Milos Zirkzee, a left back from Bournemouth, reports on this. Manchester United, Chelsea and Arsenal are all interested in Zirkzee. Bournemouth want in excess of 35 million. Now there's Premier League tax right there, knowing that you've got 3 football clubs above you all in for your player. Bang, there goes the price tag. I personally don't think United will be going in at 35 million for Zirkzee. As promising as good as he is, I think 35 million is probably going to be a little bit too much. If you are to believe the other reports, and Manchester United are already looking to spend 80 million before the bleeding pre-season starts. So who do we actually believe in terms of how much Manchester United have got to spend this summer? Is this budget based on players that they are hoping to get rid of? Or is it just a myth and they are just misleading other clubs as to how much they can spend, so we don't get bid in the bollocks basically and ripped off like Manchester United constantly do every single summer, as we all know. Back into the chat on them signings. Let me know, guys. Get in. Mason is what Rashford was supposed to be. A great player. That's from Kai. Cornish made the chance to Mason will die down as they did in Spain. United want the most for him, which is fair enough. On the other hand, doesn't everyone need a chance of redemption? For the record, I think it's a bad idea to bring him back. The realist covering himself twice over there, it would seem. Yes, can see Mason playing him. Can see him playing in pre-season to prove a point. They're making money decisions, not emotional ones. It does seem like Ineos are in serious football financial decisions at the moment in how they're dealing with things. It's a crunch situation right now for him, and I feel like there are, like Louise says there, a lot of the decisions are built around the actual finances for the football club, the ins and the outs. But we do know we need a shake-up in the squad, and there are obvious players that Manchester United can get rid of, but clearly have got different ideas on price tags for these players. And I think we found that in the opening, testing the waters of the first couple of weeks of the transfer window being open, because that's what I feel this is right now. The Braithwaite, obviously the Zirkzee, other players as well, and Garte we were talking about earlier on the last couple of days as well about him, and everything that's going on in the transfer market right now. He's just all building up and teams testing the waters and stuff like that. By the way, Guirassy going to Dortmund from Stuttgart. I feel like Manchester United missed a trick there with him. If they wanted an older striker, a more experienced striker to come in who was cheap and not going to cost a lot in wages, Guirassy was probably a good player to be looking at. But that one has passed us by. He's gone to Dortmund. And again, they're recruiting well, which is relevant to us right now because that really does take Sancho off the table for Borussia Dortmund. If they're already spending what money they've got, which we were told is pretty much peanuts, then it takes Sancho away. I'm still not having the Sancho to Barcelona talks, guys. I just can't have that. I can't. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, there was actually, in terms of outings for Manchester United, we were talking this week regarding Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Victor Lindelof and possibly being a make-weight deal for obviously Jared Branthwaite. But we are now hearing the Liverpool Echo has come out and completely quashed them ideas, apparently. Everton have got no interest at all in Wan-Bissaka and Victor Lindelof. Those are the reports coming out. So, yeah, we could sort of put that to bed as well. United are going to have to pump up the cash. Now, we said earlier on today that Manchester United are looking to take UEFA to the Court for Arbitration for Sport for the Jean-Claude Todibo situation as well. Are we looking at a case here? I said it earlier on, and if you weren't watching earlier on, the question I posed was, if United are all in on Todibo and taking this to Kaz, and we have put an official bid in for Branthwaite, them negotiations would have been going on and the finances worked out. Is it a case for you, looking at it, that we're going for two defenders on that, or is it just a case that Branthwaite we've been blown out on and we're now going to have to put all our eggs well and truly in the Todibo basket? Let me know what you think on that one, guys, as well. Let's get into the chat on some of the other stuff we've just been talking about. Super Fat Frank, he just got into a little rough role play. It was his girl, and she should have put out the next morning. Shouldn't put it out next morning anyway. Not some random granite in an alley at knife point. I don't think many are going to agree with you on that comment there, mate. We will need a skin. We'll need a skin of leather if he comes back. Mike Core, seems to me only people who do not throw bricks should be speaking out. Don't think there are many out there myself. Everyone deserves to move on after a bad time and be left alone. Would rather have a cup tied to Debo than Branthwaite, says Mike Core. And yeah, the opinions have been divided. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out then. Opinions well and truly divided on Branthwaite and that situation going on there. And it's definitely an impossible one. I've said it all along. I don't want to go and get about it too much again, but everyone keeps coming back like they're just not impressed with Branthwaite. Are we looking at this simply because we've been put off by the price tag and we don't want to believe that he's a good player and we're going to lose him? Like, the transfer window plays tricks on you, doesn't it? It convinces you one way and then completely brings you back the other way. Like, if you find out that a bid's not going through, then it maybe isn't that good. If you know that a bid's getting close, then this might actually be a good move for United. You see it all the time with fans. Like, it just plays tricks on you. It plays mind games, the transfer window. It does my bleeding head in, honestly. Like, I just cannot wait. I don't want the summer to go because I love the summer and the weather and everything like that. But in terms of football, I want it to just fast forward now and just be gone. Honestly, the Euros has drained the life out of me, and I feel like the transfer window is going to make it even worse, and we're going to be begging for the Premier League to kickstart again come August. Into other news, there's loads of news going on, guys, so I'm just going to roll through everything. Our friend Ben Jacobs again. Discussions have again been open with PSG and Manchester United about Marcus Rashford. I don't believe it. I want to believe it, but I don't. I mean, I was told a while ago that the deal wasn't dead, or communication wasn't dead between United and PSG regarding Marcus Rashford. He was always there, and whatever people were saying that it had finished, it was complete and utter bollocks. It wasn't the case. So that really is where we need to leave that, I think. Marcus Rashford doesn't want to leave Manchester United, quite rightly so. I don't think there's anyone out there in their right mind would pay him what he wants. And he has got the rule of the roost, hasn't there? He gets away with murder at Manchester United. Whether or not that'll change under Ineos, only time will tell. But right now, he's in a comfort zone where he gets away with everything. The only hope that United fans have got with Marcus Rashford doing anything for us in a red shirt again is the slap in the face he's had this summer by not making the Euros team. He probably looks at the games that England are playing right now and probably goes, I could make a difference in these games. I could do something different. Maybe actually shoot, which we know Rashford does a lot pointlessly. But something different, yeah, he might have. He is an impact player. He can come on and score wonderful goals every now and then do nothing else. I mean, to be honest, that's exactly what England need right now, isn't it? Like someone just to come on and just have that moment of magic, which we've seen Rashford, like when he came on, he started against Wolves in the game back after Belfast Gate. Obviously the Manchester derby as well, when he rifled one in from 25 yards, another goal of the month winner. So maybe he would have, but really now you got to hope as a fan that he's looking at that and going, I'm missing out here when I could make a difference, and seeing this team struggle. And I'm sat in my private gym in Dubai working out on my Todd, while everyone else is out there battling with the Three Lions shirt on. It has to be a wake-up call for him. That's the only hope that any United fan has got. Like, I still won't hold anything or any hope for Marcus Rashford this season. I still don't want him at the football club. And that's not going to change. That's not going to change. Let's just see what else we've got in the chat here, guys, before we move on. Everton's defensive record was good last year, and Branthwaite was integral to that. He is a good defender, just overpriced. Hopefully not overpaid. Cheers for that, Gary. Please do give the video a like, guys. We're creeping up to that 100 mark. Thank you, everybody. I know it's in between football games and we're trying to squeeze these streams in, but it will get back to normal within a couple of weeks when the Euros finishes. In fact, we've got a couple of days break from tomorrow and Friday until weekend when the Euros kick-starts again. So, yeah, all good, and we should have a couple of normal nights coming up. And the panel show will be back at a normal time on Friday night, guys. So, yes, make sure you're involved. You've got your notifications on and everything, and we are full steam ahead as always. But yes, more news transfer wise in the out section again, more on Casemiro and a bit more light shed on the situation with Saudi clubs. Obviously we talked the other day about Saudi clubs waiting to know how much they can actually spend. Saudi Arabian clubs are still interested in signing Casemiro. They would look to convince the player before making an offer to Manchester United. The fee that they would be looking at paying for Casemiro would be 35/40 million euros plus add-ons, potentially taking the total package to around 50 million euros. Again, our friend Mr. Ben Jacobs with that one. He hasn't been reliable much recently, our mate Ben. Bless him. He's alright, Ben. He is. He does get through a lot of work, but a lot of the time, a lot of his stories don't really come out with anything. And we're left scratching our heads going, do we actually believe him the next time? But, yeah, with the situation, we know that that's a reality anyway, that Casemiro wants out of Manchester United. I think it doesn't take a rocket science to see it, but honestly, forget the add-ons. 35 million, you're taking it right now. You're running away with it. You really are. And I just don't think United can be too pick and choosy with fees for the likes of Casemiro. Like, if you get a good offer over 30 million, I think you have to take that. That's a real price for Casemiro. And yeah, I just don't think that I don't think Ineos will turn it down, is what I'm saying. I think they will go for it. I think Casemiro does need to go. I was speaking to a lot of people outside of Old Trafford today, and nearly everyone that I asked, there wasn't many for keeping Casemiro. I think he understands the position he's in, the age that he's at, the money that he can get elsewhere, the fact that Ineos, look at this for the first time. With Casemiro now, he is going to get a drop in wages again. He probably doesn't like that going into his third season if he does stay. 25% less, so he's on less money as well. And he's probably thinking, you know what, where I'm at, the criticism and getting, there was a fallout in the final. There's no way. You could tell. I was stood there watching the players afterwards. He was probably the one man that wasn't really ecstatic about winning the FA Cup. And that's because he wasn't playing. So Yeah, I feel like Casemiro will go. It's just up to United just to accept that reasonable offer, I feel, more than anything else. 4 more likes away from the 100 mark. Cheers, guys. Keep them coming in. Get your comments in. Adam, you really don't like Rashford, do you? I respect your opinion. I am just fed up with him. Yeah. Honestly, if United are going to move forward, look, right now, do you feel like we're going to win the league with Marcus Rashford? I don't. It's just my opinion on him. Look, if he comes in next season, smashes another 30 goals, gives it the old finger on the lips, I'll go, all right, fair enough, you scored 30 goals, I'll have to accept that criticism from you, Marcus. But for him to cup his ears this season after everything that he's bleeding done, I don't have that. That's where I draw the line. And, yeah, you've got a lot of making up to do. I just not, like, I will judge Rashford at the end of the season if he stays. Again, I'll leave my thoughts alone with him there. I've already said enough with him. Normal Adam, don't think any of us can be accused of that. Yeah, to be United fans and deal with all of this, Louise, I think you're probably right, actually. Don't think anyone here is, well, normal-ish. I don't want to slag people off or hurt people's feelings, but you know it's tongue-in-cheek, guys, and you know where I'm going with it. You have to be crazy to be a United fan, you really do. If Mason playing for United winds you up, then maybe you either need to enjoy his performances and goals or support someone else. As if Ineos reinstates him, they won't change their mind. If they do, Cornish made probably right on that one. I don't think they're for anyone convincing them or changing their minds. I think you're right. In my honest opinion, Rashford is brilliantly limited. Unless the team's playing defensive long ball, Rashford is a passenger. Look at the times United long ball. There are a few seasons where Rashford was good. Counter-attacking football. His best football was under Ollie, wasn't it? Let's be honest with Marcus. It was. Like, you can say Ten Hag last season. I still think he was more dynamic and effective under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, personally. 30 goals, best season on paper. But it came in spats, didn't it? In like spells. Like after the World Cup especially, he was outstanding. But still, it wasn't consistent, I don't feel. Honest Tiger has dropped a membership in, and James Robertson has taken that. Welcome, James. And thank you, Honest Tiger. James, make sure you get in the chat and just give Honest Tiger a little thank you on that one. Much appreciated, mate. Cheers for all the likes as well, guys. I know these times are mixed up and it's not our normal schedule. I do appreciate you all coming in and getting your United fix. Let's be honest, it's better than watching Bleeding England. Okay, right, let's get into what I was discussing earlier on, just to give you my thoughts on everything. Loads of people commented. I'm not going to go into it too much, but the naming rights and the situation that is there at Manchester United right now. I'm just going to read something. It's pretty much, and you guys tell me, like, it's like the MEN actually read my mind. And not read my mind, but was listening to the show earlier on. It was, United will consider selling naming rights to Old Trafford to help fund a new stadium or significantly redevelopment of Old Trafford, but they will keep the iconic name in some form if a deal does go ahead. Ineos are considering a range of options to raise finance for work at the stadium, while a working group as a group to look into feasibility of building a new ground prepares to reports the end of the season. Radcliffe, I just feel here he's testing, absolutely testing. I just read the wrong report, by the way. I'm sorry, guys. This was the one I was talking about. It came out pretty much after I did the show earlier on, after I did my video. It's crazy. If United are destined to move to a new stadium, selling the naming rights could be seen as a lot more palatable. Yes. Arsenal did a similar thing when they left Highbury. In the more modern game, it makes sense to secure funds where possible. Agreed. Again, yes and yes. However, if Old Trafford is merely being redeveloped, selling the naming rights to fund a move will go down poorly with supporters and threatens to lower the opinion of Radcliffe among match-going spectators. Exactly what I was saying earlier on. The issue I've got with this is if they are renaming Old Trafford to get money to build Old Trafford, you're redeveloping Old Trafford. you're not redeveloping the Old Trafford and the name of the stadium. It's still Old Trafford. You cannot do that. It just, for me, it feels like we've given up. We've given up hope of making any money already, and we're just going to sell everything that we was. We're basically selling our name just to make ends meet. That's what we're doing. Look, naming rights on a new stadium is exactly where I think this is going. That's what I think is happening right now, and I think will happen. So Jim Ratcliffe is not going to have a legacy if he dies and it's still Old Trafford. So Jim Ratcliffe's legacy will be taking Manchester United up a level, facilities, infrastructure, everything like that. That includes a new stadium. So Jim Ratcliffe wants a new stadium because everyone will know that that stadium that's been built there next to Old Trafford was his. And while he was at Old Trafford, this happened. Or while he was at Manchester United and had a part of Manchester United, this happened. It happened because of him. That's what he will want to leave in his legacy. That's what he will want. So I feel it will be a new stadium. And naming rights for a new stadium is a different ballgame altogether. It's a completely different argument that I will completely accept and know is how modern football works. It moves that way. You cannot rename Old Trafford, though. That has to be off the table. Even the Glazers knew that you couldn't do that. Like, where is this money going? Yeah, it's going back into another stadium. It's not even coming off the debt. So you could have the cheek of actually renaming Old Trafford and getting money for that and then not even clear the debt? No. No, it shouldn't even be a question to rename Old Trafford. If you're building a new stadium and it comes out like the Snapdragon Trafford or the Snapdragon New Trafford Stadium or something like that, like, yeah, it may seem cheesy and corny, but we'll get over it. Like, Old Trafford just needs to be left alone. If you're not redeveloping it, then maybe downsize it to a 40,000 seater stadium or something like that and let the women's team and the under 21s and academy teams play on there. You could hold other events there easily. And yeah, that will be fine. And I think every Man United fan will accept that. I'm all on board for a new stadium. Everybody knows that. I just think if you're not going to build a new stadium, don't mess with Old Trafford. It just, for me, it just looks like you're waving the white flag and giving up. So, yeah, I just look at it and go, let's just leave that as it is, eh? Let's not mess around. So Jim said, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it when it came to Premier League. Well, Old Trafford is broke, and you have to fix it, but you don't have to change the name. You don't have to change the name. You can find another way. Find another way. And within the report that the Athletic were putting out, Manchester United are looking at financing it in other ways in the banking world as well. So, yeah, that's where we're at with that, and that was my opinion on that. Go watch the video, my instant reaction to it. It is a bit more ferocious, you could say, and a bit more... what's the word? Like personal, I feel. When I'm around Old Trafford, I feel part of it. It's just something, the fan in me. But yeah, it is honest and just how I felt at the time. It's a bit more raw. So yeah, go watch that video. It's a 5-minute video that's on the channel just below this one when it finishes. But yeah, guys, that is it. So I'm going to leave you all to go and watch the Portugal game and see what happens there. The last group stages are finishing up right now. And thank God some decent football is about to be played. Or some real more, a bit more intense football, let's just say that. Modern Samurai Inc., Legend of a Man, just quickly before we finish up. What they say and what they do are two completely different things. They want concerts there. They want the NFL there. They're not worried about football there. That will be a new stadium, and what comes with a new stadium we all have to accept, mate, I think. And that would be just a way of generating money for Manchester United. The only issue I think fans would have with it is if they don't plough that money in or back into Manchester United. That's what it will be. Guys, that's it. Thank you very much. Quick fire show. I get what it wasn't actually quick fire. It went on quite a bit there. But yeah, we've covered everything we needed to. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you everybody for getting involved. Give the video a like on the way out, everyone. Really appreciate your time again. Go get yourself a beer, sat down in front of the TV. Portugal are on. Go watch some decent football. You're going to get that from them, but not from England. But, guys, that's it for tonight. Thank you very much. As always, I will see you tomorrow. Have a great evening, people. Thank you, mods, members, and everyone in the chats, new members as well. I'll see you all tomorrow, guys.